Look, I've seen the figures and tests that prove it, but really, it all comes down to this one simple fact. With Mobil 1, a whole lot of people get to treat their cars a whole lot better.
Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
Get up, get down. Hang tight, hang loose. Outback in the sun.
Life in the Outback isn't all fun and games. After all, sometimes we have to eat.
Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right.
Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
Right now, Firestone tires are on sale. 4 for $99. Add a new 50,000-mile warranty, and people will buy them 8 at a time, maybe even 12.
The 4 for $99 sale at Firestone.
Back at the Miller Lite 200, on board with the leader, Juan Montoya, 3.2 seconds ahead of second place Paul Tracy. Nothing has changed since we left you. And on the last lap, Montoya pulls out another full second on Tracy. Look at that interval grow.
He is flying. Now, normally in a position like this, you'd want to get some interval so that when you come up behind lap traffic, you've got some room to work with. But there is a certain point of diminishing returns. You don't want to push the engine, the gearbox, the tires too hard. But I think Montoya's only got one gear, and that's flat out one speed that he knows. It keeps him in his rhythm, keeps him focused, and at Mid-Ohio, that's extremely important.
Again, 2 miles an hour faster on the last lap. Nemo Gidley has a problem. Smoke showing at the back of the car. Trying to keep it up and out there and at least get it back to the pits. Now he's got a turbo fire back there.
Nemo, a lot of experience, Formula Atlantic champion and go-kart champion, looks for the nearest fire extinguisher.
One of the things the drivers do pay attention to is where all the corner stations are located, where all the holes in the fence are. You see them marked by yellow bordering so they know where they can go for help and know exactly where the fire equipment is. Local yellow only in that area for Nemo Gidley. Back to the front of the race, Franchitti, third place. Montoya, Tracy Franchitti. And in the ongoing points fight, if it stays this way, remember that Dario got the single point for the pole, and he has led the most laps, so he's picked up 2 points. Even if Montoya would win this thing, Franchitti will still maintain the point lead, but it's tight and very slim. Complete for the leader, Montoya. Back further, you're on board with Richie Hearn. Mark Blundell is just behind him. Richie is in 14th. Blundell's been working him pretty hard. So Richie is sandwiched in between the 2-pack West cars.
Richie's been running the development Toyota engine. We've referred to it as the Phase 6. It's the RV8E, but this weekend he's gone back to the same engines that Gordon and the Ursula Wells team of Pruitt and D'Amata have been running, as well as Dan Gurney's All-American Racers, which is the RV8D. They found that the older engine, which has been developed now for quite some time, is producing a little bit more power, has a little bit more range of flexibility for throttle response. Richie had a great qualifying in 12th place and is now competitively in the hunt for points this weekend.
These two cars, the Green Machine, are 5 seconds behind that man. Juan Montoya comes across the line, completes his 72nd lap on his way to perhaps a victory in the Miller Lite 200 at Mid-Ohio.
Ever since Mobil 1 came along, other oil companies have tried to copy it to make a synthetic of their own. But if you take a look at how a copycat performs after some hard miles and compare it to new Mobil 1, it's obvious that all synthetics aren't alike. Today's Mobil 1 is tri-synthetic. It won't sludge up on you. It'll actually make your engine run smoother. The other stuff, Not in my car.
Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
Hey, Daisy, I ever tell you I did some modeling before I got on TV, much like yourself?
Really? Where?
Department store underwear ads, mainly.
Hey, would you like to join me and my friends while we go try on some new thongs?
Yeah.
You know, we models drink Miller Lite because it's so smooth.
But, you know, I drink Miller Lite because it tastes great.
See, I knew it. You're no model.
Well, I am wearing a thong. Backwards, I think.
Miller Lite. Taste a true Pilsner.
You want to see?
My cousin knew this guy who drove a cement truck. This dude was as jealous as they come, right? So he decides to go home and check on his wife. But when he drives up, he sees his classic car in the driveway and some guy in his kitchen.
Ridiculous, please. No, really.
So he backs up his truck, full load of wet mix right down the chute. But the real surprise was...
Honey, this is the car dealer. He just dropped off your birthday present. Surprise.
Get your kids
Dang it, Dan!
on Route 66.
Now at Kmart.
With the year 2000 approaching, we're trying to make sure the software here at Sports Center is Y2K compliant.
Y2K test in 3, 2, 1.
Oops.
More from the NBA and an NFL trade right after this.
We still have a few bugs to work out, but we'll be ready.
Follow me! Follow me to freedom!
Sports Center. Mornings, evenings, and late night. Only on ESPN.
Just slowing, Brian Herta slows over at the bottom of the long run coming off of the keyhole. He pulled offline. Remember, Herta was running fourth. So that'll bring Vassar, Pappas, DeFerrin, and Castroneves forward. Montoya is still your leader. Tracy is chasing him, though 6 seconds back. And Dario Franchitti is lined up right behind Tracy.
Montoya, Tracy, and Franchitti had stabilized all in the 108.2.3 second range. But on that last lap, Montoya went down to a 1 minute 7.6 second lap. So they obviously have given him the green flag to go. And with that lap, set the fastest race lap by a huge distance over anyone else.
Well, everybody should be, in fact, fat on fuel running to the finish. So you assume the commands are full open for everybody. Let's go to Jan.
Well, the situation for Brian Herta is it is engine or electronic related. They're going to try and bring him here onto pit road and change one of the electrical boxes that control the engine. But unfortunately, as we can see, he's lost a lot of ground.
And he's trying to find the spline so he can get the wheel back on the column. I think he finally gave up on it. Juan Montoya, what a remarkable story he has been. What a remarkable rookie this year. And he's on his way to equaling the rookie record set by Nigel Mansell. We can, in fact, see a checkered flag at the end of this race. There's Joe DeFerrin. DeFerrin sits in 6th. And here comes Elio Castroneves. Machine. That lucky Buckeye has got him to 7. I want it to be a little luckier than that.
Castroneves was quickest for the first practice session on Friday, and really Friday was the only day of running they had. Yesterday being washed out. Fell back a little bit in the afternoon qualifying session. Starting in 7th place, but is now having a strong run in 7th place.
Behind Castroneves, Michael Andretti. There's Michael. From time to time, you can get a glimpse of Cristiano D'Amata and Robbie Gordon, Greg Moore. They're all lined up behind him. .75 laps now complete for the leader, Juan Montoya. There's D'Amata, there's Gordon. Scott Pruitt, who is off the pace, a lap down. The two Toyota engines there, D'Amata and Gordon, looks like they're getting pretty close together. That could be an interesting fight very quickly here. Back to the front, Montoya leads. 7.4 seconds over Paul Tracy. 75 laps complete. We go to the closing laps of this run. with Juan Montoya trying to do it again here in his rookie year with just 8 laps to go.
There I was, lost in Tool territory, when I came upon a bizarre scene. A group of men standing around a shaman-like figure, chanting the same word over and over. Then the shaman spoke.
Come on, Ed. We're belt sanding. Anyhow, after that, picking a belt sander was easy.
Find 18,000 tools and learn how to use them. Tool territory at Sears, where tools rule.
Demo number 2009, the putty knife.
Golden Corral and Cox Communications want you to experience the power and glory of NASCAR racing live. Just go to participating Golden Corral locations and register to win a trip for 2 to see the NASCAR Excise Select 400 Saturday, September 11th in Richmond. Plus win lots of other great NASCAR prizes. Yes, it could be you at one of the most exciting sporting events our area has to offer. All you have to do to see it is register to win at participating Golden Corral locations. The power and glory of NASCAR racing live from Golden Corral and Cox Communications.
I gotta go.
The NFL is back. Seahawks 49ers Thursday at 8:15 on ESPN.
Back at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Juan Montoya leads. Still, nothing has changed since we left you. Tracy, Franchitti, Vassar, that's the lineup. Gary Gerald.
Rob Hill watches from the wall with the crew as Montoya gets by. What have you done to give this car so much strength? Because I know he was frustrated after this morning's warm-up session.
Basically just play with it a little bit, small changes. We thought we still had a good car. We just needed to fine-tune a little bit.
Did you have to do anything that you consider a big calculated risk or gamble?
No.
This kid's amazing, isn't he?
He really is.
Not many words, but a lot of smiles.
Well, in this case, that team lets their actions speak louder.
And on that last lap, Montoya has now raised the bar. He's the only driver to have gotten in the 1 minute 6 second bracket. He's lowered the quickest lap of the race by almost a half a second. Only Tracy now. And Jimmy Vassar in the 107s, amazing.
Mauricio Guzman slows down. He had been reporting some oil pressure problems. So if that's in fact the problem, then perhaps it's an engine yawn?
Yes, that's what the team is saying. They say it is engine related, and in fact it blew up.
That is engine related.
That would be.
Montoya, Tracy, Franchitti, Vassar, the top 4. Look at the lead he's got. 6 to go for Montoya. You know, what amazes me about this is I talked to him on Friday. At the end of the day, feeling pretty good, but when I asked him about the car, he didn't seem all too pleased with the car. Thought it was very difficult to drive. Well, Rob Hill has indicated they made some changes, but I wonder how extensive those were, and if it's just, once again, we'll ride with him a little bit here and watch him, whether or not it's just, again, a case of Montoya overcoming everything.
Well, when we did speak to him on Friday, he said the car was loose. And when Montoya tells you the car is loose, this is a guy who's normally turning right on left-hand corners on the ovals. That car is really loose. But as we ride on board with him, we can see that the back of the car is very, very stable. He's not having to make any corrections at all. A little bit there just coming off of turn number 1, but obviously they've done something this car.
You're plus 10.
Or the racetrack has come back to him. Mid-Ohio is a very finicky track, and then it changes a great deal from moment to moment, let alone day to day. And maybe it's just a matter of the track coming back to Juan Montoya. But the car looks extremely well behaved now. As you can hear, Chip Ganassi's pulled the interval out to over 10 seconds over Paul Tracy, who's now ahead of Dario by a full second. What an amazing young man.
Tracy and Franchitti, 10 seconds back, are right together. Vassar's another 3 seconds back from Franchitti. 78 laps complete and 5 to go. We're going to take you all the way to the checkered flag here. Montoya, despite the race being dominated, the most laps led by Dario Franchitti, has taken over at the front. And boy, once he got there, he was gone. Laps complete, 4 to go. Here's lose that fight for second. And remember, Paul Tracy is now focused on the championship, despite the fact he didn't run the first race of the year at Miami. It's going to be some fairly significant points for him. Back in the field, battle for 10th as Greg Moore closes on Robbie Gordon. Gordon's got Cristiano D'Amata about 100 yards ahead. Michael Andretti, all three are fighting for position. Andretti is 8th. Scott Pruitt is the only one in that line that is not part of the fight. Pruitt is right now in 17th position, a lap behind the lead.
Cristiano D'Amata trying to push Michael Andretti. They're running almost exact lap times. I don't know if there's anything left to get closer. This whole group, in fact, is running very similar lap times. And watching them drive around the course, it doesn't seem that any particular car combination has an advantage over anyone else. As they crest this race, typically in the past, at this stage in the race, you could see the back of the cars really step out. It shows you how all of the teams have improved their game, how solid the back of the car is now as they're trying to get all that horsepower down. And that is a very steep rise that they go over. Before, drivers were really hanging on, and now you can see it looks like the second lap in qualifying. The cars look much more stable.
Back forward in the field, there's Jimmy Vasser in 4th place. He's just about 2.5 seconds behind Mario Franchitti, so if anything changes ahead of him, he can be up in that fight pretty quickly. Montoya still has 10 seconds, now almost 11 on Paul Tracy. And Tracy has 2 seconds on Dario Franchitti. This will be the finish of the 81st lap. 83 the scheduled distance. Montoya through 1. Everybody rich on fuel. They can go as fast as they want. Montoya, though, unchallenged here with 2 to go. Montoya's family is here, his father, his girlfriend. They're all at the track. Most of the drivers now have taken to using motor coaches to stay, especially at a beautiful scenic place like the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, so that they're right there in the paddock, not far from their car. In the paddock here on Friday night, they had the taste of kart at Mid-Ohio for the championship auto racing auxiliary tyranny. Every one of the hospitality units put out some sort of refreshment, food. All the chefs went to work. It was a great evening.
Great layouts, and we must add that one of the hospitality areas, specifically Honda,
white flag, 1 to go,
had their chefs and crew dressed up in Gilligan's Island outfits, since their whole theme was South Pacific seafoods, and it was pretty riotous to see.
The fans here had a good time with it. Final lap for Juan Montoya. Tracy came across the line 11 seconds behind. Franchitti, as he came across the line, was really not in a challenging position on Tracy. Jimmy Vasser 14 seconds back.
And Paul Chip Ganassi doing some cheerleading for Jimmy Vasser. He'd like him on this last lap to be able to somehow get by Franchitti and deprive him of one more of those precious championship points.
Well, that, in fact, is a possibility at this point. Montoya is going to encounter some slower traffic down as he gets to the lower elevations of the course. This turns him back up the hill and back up toward the pit area.
He'll just lay back here, Paul. He's got such a big lead. He's not going to take any chances or push.
For Juan Montoya, on his way to his very first win on a natural road course, and his first win since Cleveland.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're the man. Great job today driving. You did a great job driving today.
Montoya, his 5th win of the year. They're going to take it back to that battle for second, see if it indeed is one. And it's not, and there comes Jimmy Vasser across the line as well. Vasser's going to finish it in 4th. Now back a little further. Greg Moore, Robbie Gordon, that whole group lined up. There's Andretti and D'Amata. They come through the pace. Moore's trying to get on top of Gordon coming to the finish, and he can't do it. So the race is run. Montoya takes the win by 10.93 seconds over Paul Tracy, followed by Franchitti, Vassar, Pappas, and Gil DeFerrin.
With its 32-valve I-Force V8 engine, the Toyota Tundra out-accelerates every other truck in its class. So we looked for some real competition and ran it against the Lotus in a no-holds-barred quarter mile. Introducing the new full-size Toyota Tundra. Have we gone too far? Or have others not gone far enough?
There are many important people in the world.
See that FedEx truck? Every day, it delivers important papers to people all over the world. And one day, it is going to stop here. And at that moment, we, and by we, I mean me, will be important.
But whether you're a mover and a shaker, or just a shaky movie maker, trust FedEx to deliver all your important packages. Be absolutely sure.
Action!
And be absolutely sure to see both things.
And cut!
Rated PG-13.
Hey, Mark, thanks to you now, everything's .com, you know? Beachballs.com, arugulasalad.com. I mean, .com on.
Oh, here we go again.
Hey, .com, Padre. We both like Miller Lite for the same reason. It tastes great. Commonly so.
You know I like it because it's so smooth.
Ooh, I guess we're in .compatible, right?
Not if you lose the lane .comedy.
Hey, that's a good .com back.
Miller Lite. Taste a true Pilsner.
.com here often?
If you're anything like me, you love your car. You care for it, you polish it, you protect it from damage. But really caring for your car starts right here, the engine. It's the heart of your car and deserves the best. And for me, that's Mobil 1 Tri-Synthetic. Look, I've seen the figures and tests that prove it. But really, it all comes down to this one simple fact. With Mobil 1, a whole lot of people get to treat their cars a whole lot better.
Nothing outperforms Mobil 1.
ESPN's coverage of the Miller Lite 200 has been brought to you by Miller Lite, the great taste of a true Pilsner beer. By FedEx, proud sponsor of the 1999 FedEx Championship Series. And by Mobil 1 Synthetic Motor Oil. Nothing outperforms Mobil 1. Well, we're going to give you the unofficial results for the Miller Lite 200. This is the earliest that a rookie has ever won 5 races. He did it in 14. Took Mansell 15 to win 5 in 93. Franchitti picks up the point for the most laps led and for the pole, and that helps him. And Greg Moore goes from 25th to 11th. Here's Gary Gerald.
Juan Montoya getting congratulations from Chip Ganassi, the rest of the team. There's a beautiful trophy from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course being presented now on behalf of Miller Lite for winning the 200. Now, I want to ask you, because I know you were very frustrated early today about the car and its balance. What happened to make this car so good in this race?
Well, I think we made some changes and the car improved through all the weekend. You know, this morning I wasn't very happy with the car still. I think Morris did a great job. He changed the car. And just more rubber in the truck, the car just got better and better and better.
Did you think when you started this race that it was good enough that you might be able to challenge and get a win?
Not really, you know, unless when I had so much traffic at the beginning, I couldn't do anything. So I just leaned the car right down. I just waited for the pit stops.
The first pit stop, I believe you went from 8th to 3rd. I don't think you can get any better service than that, can you?
I know, it was great. I think the guys did a great job, you know. We still managed to do an extra lap than anybody else, so that helped a lot.
The championship titans. Let's go to the other man in this chase right now with Jan.
And, of course, that would be Dario Franchitti, who got out of the car extremely exhausted, having worked with Barry Green. You feeling okay now? I know you gave it your best effort, and this is a hot racetrack.
Yeah, I don't feel physically that tired. I'm just pretty upset about the about something none of us can do anything about. We had a slow puncture in the second half of the first pit stop, and it was just killing us. The car was all over the place. The car was great the first session, and then this slow puncture just cost us track position. You know, the back markers were a joke today. You know, some of them, I think we need to put some big mirrors on these things. It's a joke. So I was upset. You know, I think the puncture cost us the race, but the back markers certainly didn't help.
But from a championship standpoint, you are right there. It's not as if you fell out. So does that give you any consolation?
Yeah, not really. I mean, you know, I think we should have been up the front today. At the end there, you know, I was keeping a consistent gap to Paul. I didn't have enough to get past him. but I wasn't about to start bleating on the radio that he was a lot holding me up, because he really wasn't that much. If I'd have got by him, I'd have probably run a couple of tenths a lot quicker, but nothing else. So there wasn't any point in upsetting the order of things. I'm just a bit fed up with the result, to be honest. I think we had the thing under control until the problems.
And of course, the emotions are high anytime there's a championship on the line.
We can't do anything about that puncture. Here is the race for the championship, and what is being voiced by Dario Franchitti there, in fact, is what has been said time and time again by many of the leaders in the series. They're concerned about the back market.
Okay, you're the new driver. You need a new car.
Yeah, I'm looking for a speedy one.
Juan, just your style.
You think so?
A little work and this baby will purr like a kitten.
Are you sure?
Vanity mirrors.
I don't know, I want like a red car.
Okay, I like this one here. I see checkered flag. Hi, I'm Jimmy Vassar. Something in a sedan. And this is Juan Montoya. Juan, this is a real deal. You don't make them like this anymore. He's right.
Are you sure Sonora started out this way?
Trust me.
When friends get together, the work's all done. There's one place to go when the weekend comes. Ford Country. Look at that truck. Ford Country. Gonna kick up some dust. Ford Country. Where the open road runs. Ford Country. The whole world's Ford Country.
I've reached top speeds on Firestone racing tires. So they asked me, Ari, how can we make our street tires move faster? Easy. Put them on sale. 4 for $99. Add a new 50,000-mile warranty, and people will buy them 8 at a time. Maybe even 12.
If you want to sell them faster, get a taller driver.
Whoa! The 4 for $99 sale at Firestone. These tires are going fast.
Back at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as Montoya's car heads for its mandatory tech inspection. We look at the results again. Jimmy Vassar with a 4th has equaled his best finish of the year.
And attaboys this weekend to Brian Herta. He had such a promising weekend. He's had such a difficult season. After running so strong, he fell out because of mechanical problems. Cristiano D'Amata finishing in 9th place. And Greg Moore, what a great run from 25th place all the way up to 11th.
Moore and Blundell both started in the back. Blundell 26th to 13th, and Greg Moore 25th to 11th. Jan?
Yes, it was a very nice run, but we also see a frustrated Greg Moore because this is a tough racetrack to come from the back, isn't it?
Yeah, there just doesn't seem to be any passing here, so, you know, it was difficult, you know, because we're a little bit slower than some of the guys in the straightaway. We must have a different setup on the car or something, but, you know, so it's frustrating that way. But, I mean, all in all, we got 2 points. We got to relieve Mid-Ohio with a car that's intact, which is better than we did last year. So, you know, I think if we'd have started up near the front, you know, in the top 10, we could have been in the top 5. But, you know, we just started too far back to really make any headway.
And remember, guys, we're going back to an oval. And Greg Moore, he loves those.
Yeah, we head down to the end of the season. 1 week it will be an oval, the new Chicago Speedway, as now the volunteer workers and the rest of the kart series working to get the track cleared off at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The race has been run here, and Juan Montoya has scored his 5th victory of the year. 1 week from now, the Kart FedEx Championship Series heads off to the Target Grand Prix of Chicago, brand new course that Chip Ganassi put together for us. There is the coverage that we will have for you next week with the race itself on ABC. Now, as is our tradition, our Toyota Spotlight, the final one of the day, takes you back to the race just run and some of the key moments of this race. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, proud to be celebrating our 20th anniversary. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Paul Page, Parker Johnstone, Garrett Gerald, Jan Biggis. Join us in a week. ATP Tennis is next.
There's a stillness before the final struggle. All those who would be champion have been silenced, and there's a quiet certainty that on this day, one man will stand above all others. Pete Sampras embodies that quiet certainty. He's dispatched 21 consecutive opponents with power, precision, and a passion for his game. Patrick Rafter has the confidence that springs from back-to-back US Open titles. He's the best Australian player in a generation, and his reputation grows anytime he can conquer Sampras. Last year here in Cincinnati, Rafter won the ATP Championship with an ace that Sampras saw as a fault. No overrule, no recourse. Rafter reigned. At the US Open last summer, no dispute, same result. A triumphant Pat. A defeated Pete. So much for history. Today it's a Sampras-Rafter rematch for the Great American Insurance ATP title. Too cool, too confident, one-on-one. We're in the Queen City, but one of these two will be crowned king of Cincinnati today. Pete Sampras leads Patrick Rafter onto the court for the second straight year. These two will battle it out in the final. Welcome everyone to the Great American Insurance ATP Championship. Pete Sampras and Patrick Rafter in a best-of-3 set final match. The weather, well, it's been different all week. For now, let's just say clear skies, 72 degrees. In fact, it's perfect. Friendly hello, everybody. I'm Cliff Drysdale. Two top seeds are in the final, and, you know, sometimes you get finalists and you say, well, they're a little lucky to get there, one thing and another. That has not been true this week. These two guys have played just brilliant tennis. Let's start with Patrick Rafter. He took out Michael Chang and made him look like, frankly, like a beginner. Yesterday, he takes on Yevgeny Kafelnikov. Kafelnikov, a finalist of the Mercedes Super 9 last week up in Montreal. He takes out Henman here. Looks like he's playing beautifully, but Rafter manhandled him. Let's take a look at the highlights now. This from yesterday, from Australia, Patrick Rafter. From Russia with love, Yevgeny Kafelnikov. First set. This kind of tennis from Rafter from the beginning. The Russian was on his heels. Now, what can you do? He hits a great passing shot, and Rafter somehow is able to get it back. Kafelnikov played a few good points, obviously. First set went to 6-4. Take a look at this as Kafelnikov finally does make his move to the net, something he was trying to do. Didn't have much chance to do. Rafter couldn't get to that one, but there were few and far between yesterday that he could not get to. Watch this one, for example. What doesn't Rafter have? Look at the speed. And then the shots. Rafter, first set, 6-4. Second set, more of the same, only worse for the Russian. Serve and volley par excellence, easy put away from Rafter. That gets him to match point. 5-2 second set. And the hapless Russian lets this one go. It lands in, match is over. Rafter in his second consecutive final 4-2 easily over Yevgeny Kafelnikov. It's quite interesting if you look between the lines here. You've got number 4, Patrick Rafter, on fire. Pete Sampras is on a roll. Agassi is on hold. I wonder for how long. He's played very well. And Kafelnikov truly is on and off. Yesterday was a relatively off day for him. Hi, Patrick McIntyre. Welcome to you. This is an exciting day. I mean, as I was saying, these guys deserve to be where they are today.
No question, Cliff. And what a week it's been of tennis. And it's come down to these two players. And let's put a little perspective in this thing right now. Pete Sampras, we know all about him. He's going for his 60th career title, 12 Grand Slam titles. But you really measure greatness in an athlete by how they do when the pressure's on. Pete Sampras, in the last 19 finals that he's played, he's won 16 of them. That goes all the way back to 96. Now Patrick Rafter, the Australian. This guy also is starting to get into that realm of greatness. Since he won the US Open in 1997, Patrick Rafter has won 8 of the 9 finals that he's been in. And of
course, last year, Cliff, they played that thriller in the final. Rafter won that the year before. Sampras beat Rafter in the finals here. It's the rubber match in Cincy.
All right, those are the numbers. Those are the statistics. Now, it's one-on-one, and it's one guy's serve against another guy's serve. What are we going to see here today?
We're going to see some incredible tennis. And, you know, quite frankly, Cliff, I can't really put a finger on how either one of these guys can lose. I mean, we've seen the way Sampras has played. He dominated Andre Agassi yesterday. It was a tight first set, yes, but Sampras looked flawless in all aspects of his game, including from the baseline, and he's been on a serious roll. He's won 21 straight matches. Now, Patrick Rafter has just started to find his summer form here in Cincinnati. 8 of the last finals he's been in. Of course, early in his career, he lost a lot of those finals. But Patrick Rafter, in the last 2 matches he's played against Chang and against Kafelnikov, he hasn't even come close to losing his serve against 2 of the best returners in the business.
Actually, I kind of like that. Neither one of these guys can lose because they're playing so well. Is that a good formula for a great final? You betcha. Pete Sampras, Patrick Rafter, Sampras seeking revenge. They are both Grand Slam title holders. Pete Sampras at Wimbledon. Patrick Rafter, the U.S. Open champ. He's number 4. Sampras is number 1. It's all on the line.
Here's your scalding hot cup of tea, Grandma. Thank you, Thomas.
The M-Class performs like a Mercedes, no matter where it goes.
Martian McLennan?
No, I honestly know who it is.
Wait.
Martian McLennan,
No, there are...
It's, they're those...
No idea.
I'm sure I've been asked this before.
Martian McLennan Companies. It's time we introduced ourselves.
ESPN and the ATP Tour's presentation of the Great American Insurance ATP Championship is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. It's Rafter and Sampras in the final match, best of 3 here. We're at the ATP Center in Mason, Ohio. Both players coming into today's final not having dropped a set. They both say that they are playing at or near their best. Sampras says he's close to peaking, and Rafter says pretty much the same thing. First ball, Rafter to Sampras.
Well, I mentioned, Cliff, that Rafter didn't lose serve against Chang or Kafelnikov. We see Sampras, of course, that's a record, 272nd week at number 1. This week it'll be his 273rd, starting on Monday. Sampras just breaking the record held by Ivan Lendl of most weeks on the computer, number 1. Patrick Rafter currently at 4. Of course, he's been number 1 a short time earlier this summer, and just starting to get on a roll recently.
Sampras won the toss and decided to take the side with the sun behind him. Rafter said, I'm going to serve. He could have chosen to receive. So he's serving into the sun. Sampras trying to take an early advantage. Hasn't worked. Game point.
Rafter's not going to receive, but because he hasn't been broken all week long.
And Sampras
knows that. Matches.
1 game to love, Sampras. First set, best of 3 for the championship here of this Mercedes Super 9.
Park Avenue, LeSabre, Century, Regal, Casey Buick has the real cars at real savings right now. Get the exact car you're looking for, plus the Casey low price guarantee. Find a lower price, Casey will write you a check for 110% of the difference. And you can rely on Casey's meter beat service pricing and customer care. Price, selection, and satisfaction. That's the difference. The Casey Buick difference. Drive the new Buicks today at Casey Buick, corner of J. Clyde and Jefferson, Newport News.
Some of the finest food in Tidewater can be found in Topeka's. Topeka's Steakhouse. Great steaks are just the beginning.
Patrick Rafter, 1-0 over Pete Sampras. Sampras to serve. Let's go down to Luke Jensen at courtside now. Luke?
But there's so much talk about the point from last year, the match point Patrick Rafter had serving in that tiebreaker, and the call, how close it was. So much rivalry between these two guys. Let's take a look at that thing. Right there, that was it. Pete Sampras thought that was out, and it wasn't a tiebreaker. I'm sorry, that was on match point. And I've never seen Pete Sampras so upset. Between the presentation for the trophy, went in the locker room and destroyed a light fixture with a water bottle. Then he came out and said, you know, cooled off a little bit. But I spoke with Paul Annacone about that right before this match.
I think, you know, there's been a lot of, probably too much said in the media about what's going on, but, you know, I know Pat and Pete talked 10 days ago or so on the phone for a while, so as much as it would be good theater for a lot of animosity there, I know in particular from Pete's side, there, you know, there really isn't any.
Cliff, there's a lot of tension out here. I don't care what Paul Annacone says. Both these guys want to be #1 after this match. They were watching the PGA tournament actually right before this, but even though they're calm, there's a lot of nerves out here. Back to you.
Thank you, Luke. There's obviously a lot of tension. My own feeling is that there's nothing personal in this. This is a job for both of these guys, and they obviously want to be #1 in the world. There's a rivalry, obviously, but they've got a great respect for each other as human beings. 30-love Sampras, second game.
Attacking that second serve, that's something he's going to need to do today. Have a shot to break the Sampras serve. And Pete with a tremendous pickup there and got some pace behind it. Rafter, even with his speed, couldn't catch it.
Game point Sampras. Patrick, does this match answer in any way what might have happened if Pete Sampras had played Davis Cup for the USA when they played Australia in Boston?
Well, Cliff, I don't think there's any doubt that if Sampras had played, the U.S.'s chances would have been that much better. I mean, that's pretty obvious. I think this match is sort of a toss-up. It's head-to-head 8-4 for Sampras. Rafter, though, has won the last 3. First time they ever played was back in '93 in Indy. Look at that scoreline. It was 3 tiebreaks. But I think what would have made the big difference, obviously this match would have been tight in Davis Cup. I think clearly Sampras would have beaten Leighton Hewitt on the first day. So it would have really changed the whole outlook of the weekend.
Because Davis Cup is best of 5 sets. This one is a best of 3 set final. But the conditions are just about perfect. There's a slight breeze, but very slight compared to how it has been most of the rest of the week. Win or lose today, Sampras is going to stay #1 on the ATP Tour computer ranking. Rafter is going to stay at #4. The 2 players that could have overtaken Pete were Andre and Kafelnikov, Agassi and Kafelnikov, and they both lost in the semis. How many points is that against serve so far?
Well, how about this? There's a double fault for Rafter, and coming into the match today, Cliff, Rafter has only made 3 double faults in the entire tournament. Look at the service games played. He's faced 1 break point. That's over 4 matches.
30-15.
The guy who serves as big as he does and serves and volleys, and that's only his 4th double of all week.
Straight into the body. Only 99 miles an hour.
What makes that serve so effective, Cliff, is that Rafter can pick each corner in the box. He can serve wide, he can go up the middle, and you have to cheat one way or another, and that body serve becomes that much more effective.
Game point. Another easy one for Rafter on serve, 2-1. Sampras will serve it. We come back to Mason, Ohio for the final match.
The best tennis players in the world play on the ATP Tour. And like all great competitors, they disagree on just about everything. Which tournaments to play, surfaces, line calls, playing styles, even which language to argue in. But there is one thing they do agree on. The ball. The Penn ATP Tour ball.
ESPN SportsCenter Update is brought to you by Original Coors. Expect more from an original Coors.
In his quest for his second major, Tiger Woods lead down to 2 over Sergio Garcia at the PGA. The A's run for the wild card in high gear. They complete their first 3-game sweep at Skydome since '94. And Sammy Sosa now trailing Big Mac by a single homer in the NL. 2 homers today. The Cards still beat the Cubs. Highlights from Medina on the next SportsCenter at 7 Eastern. I'm Dave Revson.
I talked to Patrick Rafter last week and asked him if he really would have liked to have played against Pete Sampras in match number 4 of the Davis Cup at the Longwood Cricket Club, USA, Australia.
No, not really. And it's always a pretty intimidating sight seeing Pete down the other end, whether he's ready or whether he's not. I mean, he's come off Wimbledon there. And he already made the commitment that he wasn't going to play too gully, and he stuck by his guns with that commitment. But it would have been, tough to have played him.
Pretty honest. I think I said to you once before, Patrick, that I have a feeling that if I'd asked that same question of your brother, for example, he'd have said, I wanted to play him. He just came off Wimbledon, and I wanted to beat him.
Well, this is how that whole weekend turned out. Of course, that was a big match. I think Clayton Hewitt beating Todd Martin the first day in 4 sets. Rafter over Courier in straights. The Americans winning the doubles with Sampras in there. And then Todd Martin in a valiant effort, feeling very much under the weather, won the first 2 sets, but Rafter came back to win it in 5. I'm not sure if I totally buy. I mean, look, Rafter's an unbelievable competitor. I don't think he's intimidated by Sampras. I mean, he says that and because he respects Sampras. He certainly knows what that Sampras is the king right now and has been for the whole decade, really. He has enough belief in his game now and his weapons, Patrick Rafter, that he knows going into this match with Sampras that he's got an exceptional chance to win this.
Take me back to the Open when they played against each other. Their match won by Rafter. Didn't Sampras complain of the injury that day?
He did. He did hurt himself sort of midway through the match. I think it was his leg or his hip. And it sort of hurt him as that match went on.
30 love.
And I think it was part of what ruffled the feathers of Rafter, that Sampras sort of didn't use as an excuse, but it did come up sort of after that match at the Open. I don't think it was unusual that it would. It was sort of clear that Pete was struggling, at least in the last set and a half. Both players thought that serve was out, but no call. So Pete said, all right, I'll take it. And quite frankly, Cliff, last year here, when they played in the final, after the final, and of course, as we saw Sampras quite upset after that match, he said, well, someone asked him, well, what's the difference between you and Rafter? And he said, well, about 10 Grand Slams. So that, that didn't sit. Now it's 10 again. Then Rafter won the Open. Then it was down to 9. But now since Sampras has won Wimbledon, it's back up to 10.
Suffice it to say that Pete Sampras is a very proud man. He is very pleased with his
Grand Slam effort. Blame him. 12 he's got now.
Certainly can't argue with the major record of Sampras and the majors that they both played in, including the Open and the Mercedes Super 9s. A couple of them you see Rafter beating Sampras, big 2 last year. Hey, the last 2 summers, Rafter's been the best hardcore player. You just can't argue with that.
15 all, 2 games all.
And much as Richard Krajicek has done against Pete Sampras in his success, Krajicek finally losing to Sampras here for the first time in 5 consecutive matches. Sampras broke that string in the quarterfinals. Rafter is going to employ similar tactics against Sampras. And that's serving predominantly to the backhand side of Pete and making Pete pass off that backhand side. And Rafter's serve has enough weight behind it and consistency. That's something that can give Sampras trouble. There it is. A kick serve. That's the natural serve for Patrick Rafter.
Gets up a little bit too, and that's not an easy one for Sampras to get back.
No, that's the toughest shot for a one-handed backhand player, and that's clearly Sampras' least favorite stroke.
And one of Rafter's best serves, as you're pointing out. Game point.
He likes a court that gives the ball a little bite so that it can get up. 3-2 Rafter on serve. Neither player having trouble holding yet.
Who's that?
Me, Michael. Peter Pan. Do you remember when you were 8 and we went flying?
Yeah.
Well, let's fly again.
But I can't fly anymore.
Well, of course you can fly. It's never too late to fly.
Every week, movie patrons eat millions of pounds of snacks, and nobody brings a toothbrush. Chew on this. Chewing Trident after snacks can help prevent cavities from forming.
Where's mine?
So when you can't brush, chew on this. Trident.
The top seniors on the tour meet to tee off in the Bank of Boston Classic. Begins Friday at 1 on ESPN.
3-2 Rafter. Sampras to serve with the Great American Insurance ATP Championship, everyone. This is the championship match. Join us Wednesday. First round coverage, USGA US Amateur Championship. The most recent winner who's gone on to a successful professional career is no prize for this one. Tiger Woods. He won 3 straight Amateur Opens, and he's having a great weekend this weekend too. Action tees off Wednesday at 3 p.m. on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, go.com. Final match, first set, 3-2 on serve, full house. It's been that way all week. Record crowds every session. Sampras serving. 50. Cliff Drysdale up here, Patrick McEnroe alongside Luke Jensen's at courtside.
Second ace for Sampras. Both players coming out of the blocks, serving exceptionally well. I see Sampras checking the sun there on that side. The late afternoon start a little better for the servers on that side. We've had a lot of our starts early in the afternoon, which has really been a problem for serving at that end, the end where Sampras is right now.
Sampras actually anticipated where that backhand pass was going, but still couldn't get there in enough time to make the volley.
30-50. I think it's fair to say that you are watching 2 of the best hardcore players, that we know just from quoting the records to you, but they are also playing at their peak right now. So settle back, relax, fasten your seatbelt, and enjoy.
30-15. Oh, hey, a miss like that could cost one of these players a set with the way they've been serving. Sampras checking the tension, but the tension didn't have anything to do with that. He mishit it. Rafter with the... Yeah, but this is an opportunity at 30 all, by the way. You know, the way these two guys are serving.
But see, Pete couldn't be to blame for that. Something's got to be to blame.
Couldn't be him.
Be the string tension. Second serve.
Light. Both players will make their opponent pass on that backhand side. It was a good return from Rafter off a second serve that hit right on the line. Pete was very safe with that volley, got it back deep to the Rafter backhand.
Game to Sampras. It's 3 games all. Rafter will serve. Pete calls him probably the best serve and volley we have on the tour right now. If he's not, I'd like to know who he is. But anyway, that's nice for Sampras to say that. Obviously, he says he plays well here in Cincinnati. It's not like I'm trying to get even with him. I'm just looking forward to a good match. Calls him a stand-up guy. Three all, first set.
Pinpoint accuracy on the return from Patrick Rafter. Pete Sampras' return game in play. Not too many balls, only 4 so far in the match. A lot more serves being directed toward the Sampras backhand, almost double. Rafter using that one wide to the forehand to keep Sampras honest. Sort of like a pitcher that loves to pitch inside, and just once in a while will throw a fastball outside on that outside corner, just to make sure they don't take a step away from the plate.
30 low. Sampras had some trouble beating Jan Simmering in his first match, second round, because he got a bye. Close tiebreak first set. Other than that, no trouble. 40 love Sampras. He took out Rainer Schuttler, the German, pretty easily. And then Richard Krajicek even more easily when he turned that. Tables on Krajicek had beaten him 4 straight times, as you've already mentioned, Patrick. And then again, Agassi yesterday, straight sets.
That was the 3rd straight win this summer for Sampras over Agassi. Wimbledon final, Los Angeles final on hard court, and then yesterday.
Makes the court look very small.
Well, again, Rafter with a beautiful second serve, and Sampras has to play points like this just to win points off the Rafter serve. An incredible return cross court and a swinging forehand volley.
Rafter serve intimidated Kafelnikov yesterday. So far, Sampras has had no success. They both got to be wondering how to make an impression on the other guy's serve.
I was fed up with treating my heartburn symptoms, so I had the problem fixed.
I couldn't even lie down at night, so I finally did something about it.
You can spend your life treating chronic heartburn with medicines and restricted diets, or have the problem fixed.
For more information, call this number now for a free videotape about how videoscopic surgery can fix chronic heartburn in most cases. As with any medical procedure, videoscopic surgery can carry risks and complications. Consult your doctor.
You can treat it or fix it.
Final match of the Great American Insurance ATP Championship. The two top seeds, Pete Sampras and Patrick Rafter, on this hard court battling.